Our daily cancellation today begins with a sports reporter by the name of Wiley Ballard. Wiley Ballard covers the Atlanta Braves. He also has a great name for a reporter or a private detective with a name like that, but that's neither here nor there. Ballard provoked outrage and drew backlash, as Yahoo Sports describes it, because of his behavior during a Braves broadcast this past Monday. NBC News, one of the dozens of other outlets to report on this national scandal, described this incident involving Ballard as gross and unprofessional. And so you might start to imagine what kinds of things a sideline reporter might do during a baseball game that would upset people this much. Did he show up drunk? Did he use profanity on air? Did he assault someone? Whatever he did, at least he apparently managed to make a baseball broadcast slightly interesting, which is almost impossible to do. So we know we have to give him some credit for that. But what sort of outrageous behavior did he exhibit exactly? Female sports reporter Kate Feldman describes the incident as one of the most insanely inappropriate things she's ever witnessed in her life. And many women on social media have agreed. So what was it exactly? Well, with all that buildup, get ready to be shocked and appalled.
Who do we got here? What's your name?
My name's Lauren.
Lawrence, all right.
And I'm Kayla.
Kayla, and you guys hang out at the Rooftop Lounge often?
Once a year I come out to visit.
Okay, well, we timed it pretty well. All right, good. How are you guys feeling about rooting for the Braves today?
Oof, I don't know. I'm hoping for the best.
What about you? Are you a Braves fan now?
Not quite.
Not quite. All right, I'm gonna go to work up here, guys. Good luck the rest of the way.
Okay, Wiley. You got 4 innings to get the numbers.
I'm on it.
Get us some more Braves fans.
All right, so they want me to get your number.
They want you to get my number.
I'm dead serious. They're saying in my ear right now. She doesn't believe me because she thinks you guys are not. I'm making this up. Even if you guys weren't, I might use that in the future. That's actually a pretty good move.
This is unbelievable.
So the best part of this right now is that Wiley could totally be faking it. This might be the new move. Just walk around with a FanDuel microphone and an earpiece in and convince fans that they're actually on TV.
I should have thought of this years ago.
I am speechless.
I got the number. We're good.
Okay, so that was it. Now, I know you were waiting for the part where he does the insanely inappropriate thing that was promised, but it never happens. That was the whole video. That was the incident that attracted national media coverage and hundreds of outraged comments. He asked for a woman's phone number. And that was, just to be totally clear, an adult man asking for an adult woman's phone number. As far as we know, both are single, neither are married, which makes this perhaps the least scandalous thing that has ever been aired on television. In fact, in a saner time, we would all agree that not only was this totally inoffensive and benign, this was a charming moment between two people. And in fact, if they start dating and eventually get married, they'll have one of the great how we met moments of all time. So it's great. But we don't live in sane times, so instead, this moment has become a point of controversy. Here's Yahoo Sports trying desperately to find some reason to be disturbed by this normal heterosexual behavior. Quote, there are some uncomfortable power dynamics at play throughout the entire segment. Ballard, whether intentionally or not, used his platform for personal reasons, while the broadcast booth of Godin and CJ Nitkowski encouraged him. The fact that cameras were involved and that Lauren could hear only one part of the conversation added to those issues. At the very least, it was unprofessional on the part of all three men on the broadcast. There are far more unsavory reads on the interaction, which could be viewed as creepy, gross, and inappropriate. I need to remind you again that the thing this article describes as creepy, gross, and inappropriate is a man asking for a woman's phone number. Maha, or Maha, however you pronounce it, is making health and fitness a priority again across America. That's why I've teamed up with Don and the crew over at Jacked Up Fitness. These guys are legitimately American-made, and they're getting some serious attention. They even dropped off their Power Rack Pro at the HHS building for RFK Jr. and his team in light of Maha's movement. I'm actually getting my own Power Rack Pro delivered soon, and I'm pretty excited about it. This thing is basically an entire gym that fits into your house. The cable crossover system, integrated 200-pound weight stacks, Smith machine. You can do hundreds of exercises without fighting for space or machines at your local overpriced gym. And if you're clueless about strength training, don't worry. They've got this Get Jacked Up program with full-body video workouts led by actual celebrity trainers, Kim Lyons from The Biggest Loser and Clark Bartram. All you have to do is hit play and follow along. It's that simple. Almost anybody should be capable of handling those instructions to get started. Head to getjackedup.com to access the program for free. And when you're ready to pull the trigger and order your own Power Rack Pro, you can use code Walsh to save 10%. No more excuses. Getjackedup.com. Your future self will thank you or curse you. Either way, you'll be fitter. And of course, this delusional interpretation of the event is couched in concerns about power dynamics. This is one of the many horrendous innovations of the Me Too movement, is that now any attempt by a man to speak to or form a connection with a woman can magically become abusive and creepy if you just shout the phrase power imbalance at it. Because, of course, when you think of a tyrannical despot lording his power over a helpless young woman, you immediately imagine the Atlanta Braves sideline reporter. You know, the guy that probably makes like $80,000 a year is exploiting a power imbalance somehow. Never mind the fact that the young lady is smiling, laughing, appears to offer up her phone number with no hesitation and a great deal of enthusiasm. Still, she didn't have power. She was forced to do it. Every day I find another reason to be grateful that I'm not single, and here's another reason. You know, this is reason number 1,552 or wherever we are on the list. As if it isn't already difficult enough on the dating scene, this kind of bizarre, weirdly like puritanical nonsense only adds to the challenge. I mean, how are men and women supposed to meet if any man who approaches a woman is automatically a creep? And when it comes to power imbalances, isn't there always a power imbalance given that men are bigger and stronger than women? So at any time, if you're like a normal guy and you're trying to talk to a woman, there's always going to be a power imbalance. Does that make it inherently abusive for a man to ask out a woman under any circumstance? Or should the dating scene consist only of frail, small, broke men dating large, muscular, wealthy women? Now, of course, the problem is that women, whether they're large or not, don't really want those kinds of men. The power imbalance is precisely what women are looking for. You know, a man's like bigger and stronger. Very often, I think women don't mind if the man also has more money than them. So that so-called power imbalance is exactly what makes the man attractive to the woman in the first place. So this is what makes it totally impossible. And because the power imbalance also makes a man automatically predatory if he attempts to date a woman. So the whole thing is incoherent and insane. And all a young man can do in the face of this is ignore the noise and just trust that most women are not the type to think that he's a creep for being heterosexual, which is true, by the way, that most women aren't like that. So that's the saving grace here. But that was only one of the criticisms levied at this guy for asking for a woman's number. There were also a large number of female sports reporters claiming that the moment somehow represented some kind of double standard, some kind of sexist double standard. Reading just a few of these comments, quote, "Imagine if a female reporter did anything like that. Career over. Pretty brutal to see it glorified by the broadcast." Then another one says, "Here's the thing. I don't ever really comment on stuff like this, but glorifying this moment is not okay. If this were a female reporter, people would call it unprofessional. But it's a male reporter, which means people will find it funny and tweet about how great this is." Another one says, "Imagine the tone of the conversation around this had the genders been reversed." And so on and so on and so on. And there were also think pieces written in the local newspaper about this, making the same point about how it's a power imbalance. Lots of female sports reporters claiming that Ballard benefits from this, this double standard. And if a female reporter did the same thing, they're saying, she would be criticized. So that's the double standard. But the problem with this claim is that, first of all, a male reporter did do this, and he was criticized. So when you say, well, imagine if a female reporter did this, she would be criticized. Well, yes, and that's exactly what's happening to this guy. You're doing it. So that is happening. There's no double standard here. He's being treated exactly as you claim a female reporter would be treated. The criticism you're imagining is actually happening. This moment was, in fact, treated like a scandal of national importance. So the double standard claim falls apart before it gets off the ground. In fact, of course, we know in reality, the double standard goes exactly the other way. Because I don't know about you, but I have never in my life heard of a woman being labeled creepy, gross, and predatory for asking for a man's number. Have you ever heard of that? Have you ever heard that description used about a woman for approaching a man? I have never heard it one time. In literally every case where there's a controversy over somebody harmlessly hitting on somebody else or asking them out, it is always the man as the focus of the outrage. I cannot think of a single exception. So these women are correct. There is a double standard, but it's a double standard that they benefit from. And that is ultimately why everybody expressing any kind of outrage at a straight man for engaging in totally normal and healthy heterosexual male behavior is today canceled. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code Walsh to get 2 months free on all annual plans. See you there.